What's up, everybody? Coming at you live.
Do it live.
We'll do it live. A little special edition of the Jared Nuzzy podcast for you. We got the NCAA Tournament starting today. We've got free agency still alive and well. A lot of guys still out there. NFL drafts creeping up on us. All that good stuff, you know. If you haven't yet, like we start every show, make sure you're liking that page, Jared Nuzzy Podcast on Facebook. I'm sorry, I did it again. Jira. 22 years I've known this guy. He finally corrects me saying it's Jira, not Jira. Just that's a little fun fact for you. Wow, we got people coming in and out. Can't even see your face. Can't even see your face on there. Everybody's coming in. Todd, what's going on, buddy? Welcome to the show. Todd. So yeah, Jira Nuzzy on Twitter, Jira Nuzzy Podcast on YouTube, Jira Nuzzy on
YouTube blowing up.
Facebook. Yeah, YouTube's going in.
Whoa!
Hey, a little biggie at you. Oh, Pena, what's up, Bob? Welcome to the show. We got
the views going up on YouTube. That's big. Want to remind everyone about the draft show at Outback.
Yes,
later next month,
Thursday the 25th. Thursday, April 25th, the day of the NFL draft. The morning of, we'll be doing a live show at Outback Steakhouse. So it's gonna be sick. Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna have some free blooms. Gonna have a contest. Take
Tom,
questions.
what's up, bud?
Already got about 17, 18 people signed up.
Oh yeah, 17, 18 people said they're gonna come either show up or join us on Facebook Live.
If you can, if you haven't already done so and you're interested, sign up on our Facebook sheet there that we sent out for the invite, so we kind of get a count for food. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Again, just can't say enough. The YouTube views really, we went from 50, 60 a show to about 140, 150.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's pretty good.
Season's on the line, Pena.
Season is always on the line.
Yeah,
the show's on the line.
So we wanted to dive in a little bit, talk about free agency. We got some
two moves.
Two moves happened like in the last. I don't know.
One I told you last week. I thought Clay Matthews perfect fit for the Rams. He made so much sense.
Oh yeah, big sense.
It's like Kevin Green. Part
looks
2.
just like him.
Yeah. But great fit in Wade Phillips' scheme. He's going to help on third down, rush the pass. Just a really solid move, I think. So I know Clay Matthews is on the decline, but he can still rush the quarterback, and as a third down specialist, I think he'll be pretty solid. And the move we just talked about, if you're a fantasy football fan, I think this has a lot of implications, is Jared Cook to the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
huge pickup, huge weapon for Breeze. Before we got on this show, we were gonna see where the top guys should land, and I had Jared Cook written right here, Saints, with a backup plan being the Patriots, God forbid, but luckily that didn't happen, so the Saints.
Jared Cook, I mean, you can get your 8-10 touchdowns a year, 50, 60 catches, some big plays. Great, very solid weapon for the Saints in that offense. That's a solid move. I'm surprised he kind of was out there this late.
It's crazy. He's been pretty productive even in that Raider offense last couple of years. So you would think he would have got snagged up.
Receiver for the Raiders last year.
Oh yeah, I mean they had no wide receiver help after traded Cooper. We got a couple other guys on here. I know Ndamukong Suh's still out there. The Rams aren't bringing him back. Clearly, they got Dexter Fowler back, so they need.
What team did I just see got mentioned with Suh that made a lot of sense? I know the Saints were
rumored. I mean,
Seahawks. But there was
Chargers, Raiders. Obviously, the Raiders are in play for everybody. The Colts, maybe a little bit. They got only because they have the cap room. They can pay pretty much every remaining free agent out there right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colts would be an interesting.
He's still
pick.
A pretty solid player. I think he could definitely still help a team. Especially 20, 30 plays a game.
Not sure. I mean, it's as long as he's staying in games, not getting kicked out of them, because he's obviously a dirty player, and a lot of teams don't want that kind of player on their team now. Yeah. And but I mean, he can still give
the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, that's what it was. Still give teams some help for sure. Ziggy Ansah is another one out there who's a great pass rusher. The Lions let go.
I know he's had some injury issues, but when he's healthy, he's 12 to 14 sacks. I'm sure he's probably looking for a big deal.
Well, yeah.
That's why he's still out there, but he might have to take a 1 year prove it type deal. But he can get to the quarterback. Watch him go to a team like the Patriots on a 1 year deal.
Well, it would make sense at this point because he's lasted this long. They got rid of Trey Flowers, went to Detroit. So you kind of flip flop pass rushers for Detroit and New England. But I like the Eagles too. The Eagles only because the Eagles don't have a ton of cap, but when guys are lasting this long. their price is going to have to go down eventually.
And that's the teams that are real successful end up getting guys like this kind of fall to them, guys who don't get the big paydays, then have to take a 1-year type prove-it deal. So you see teams like the Patriots and Eagles get these kind of guys on low-level deals and they end up coming and having...
Felipe, what's going on, brother? How you doing,
having
man?
good years. Who else you got on there?
All right, so I got a little Eric Berry action. The Cowboys swing and missed on Earl Thomas, or they didn't want to give it
so
up.
much sense.
I mean, the Cowboys need a safety. The Browns need a safety. They were in talks with Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of, let's see how long we can wait, just like with Ziggy Ansah, to get him at a cheaper rate. Broncos can use a safety. I don't know if we're in the market for him. We don't really have the cap space, I don't think, to do that.
I don't think he's going to get a big contract. I can't see him getting really much more than
Yeah, I mean, it's not a move I see Owen making, but I would definitely welcome it for sure. Who else we got? The Niners, I mean...
If anything else, you'd love to have Eric Berry as a locker room, presence, great leader. I don't think the Niners, they re-signed Jimmy Ward, and they they still have Adrian Colbert. They have Tard who could play both safety spots, and I think they'll take a guy in the draft. So I don't think they'll be in the mix.
We'll see. I mean, Pena says the Ravens back on top next year, even though they lost 8 starters. But Earl Thomas coming in. Lamar Jackson. I know he's a big Lamar Jackson fan.
And so am I. I love Lamar Jackson. He's a gamer, but he's still a year or two away from, I think, reaching his peak. And I think the Ravens... Well, C.J. Mosley, that's a big loss.
C.J. Mosley's a big loss. We talked about Lamar Jackson yesterday at work a little bit, and it was...
I love Lamar Jackson. I thought he was my favorite quarterback in last year's draft because the guy's gamer.
I think he's definitely a gamer. I think the jury's still...
Something about him, he's got the intangibles and the moxie and all the stuff I like in a quarterback. But
I think the jury's still out on him because of the accuracy and the footwork. The mechanics are totally off. He's not. He can't really make. He can't make all the throws. He can't make many throws. But like you said, he's a gamer. When it comes down to it, he almost came back in that playoff game last year.
You got to get him another wide receiver in the draft.
Oh yeah, he's
got
no
a couple
weapons.
good young tight ends. The tight ends, I think,
tight ends are a young quarterback's best friend usually.
He's got 2 pretty decent young tight ends. They need to get some receiving help for him though. That's for sure.
Yeah, they definitely need some help. Losing Crabtree, who wasn't really much help for him last year anyway. Yeah. But so Jay Ajayi is an interesting person on this list. Running back, he's coming off an ACL injury. He's still not very old. He's still young. He's in his late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is another guy that people are just waiting on because of the injury to get him lower, to get him cheaper. The Colts, the Steelers need another running back. I mean, they have James Conner.
And the Falcons need some depth with Tevin
Falcons
Coleman.
Lost Tevin Coleman. They could use a running back, Pena. So I don't know if that's enough. And then, of course, the Lions. They're always...
The Raiders could use a running back.
The Lions have like 25 running backs always.
That Kerryon Johnson, I think.
Kerryon Johnson, but you always need that second guy.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of guys other than Christian McCaffrey, I think, in this league that I can think of who are carrying the load 190%.
And even Christian McCaffrey need a bigger back for the short yard. So
Jay Ajayi is definitely going to be on the team.
The league has changed now. You need 2 running backs.
For sure.
It's a 2 running back.
No question. Justin Houston, the Chiefs let go.
Solid veteran
he's
pass rusher.
Very solid. He's somebody.
Atlanta would make sense.
Atlanta could use a pass rusher. I think they'll go maybe in the draft to get
New England.
The New England.
That makes a lot of sense.
The Bears could always use somebody opposite Khalil Mack. I know they got Leonard Floyd, but you can. Mm-hmm. That's one thing we always said when we were talking about the draft. You never can have too many pass rushers. No matter what team you are, you can never have too many pass rushers. So. Eagles, why not? We were talking about Ziggy Ansah for the Eagles. And Muhammad Wilkerson's another one too. Anchor the inside of your D-line. He's still solid. He's only 29, I believe. The Bucks could use some interior linemen. The Giants. There's a lot of teams that could use that. I mean, the Ravens could use it. They lost a lot of guys on their defensive front. All these guys are going to get signed very soon.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a list that goes on. You can say, Ricky, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. So plenty of free agents still out there for your team. I know the Cowboys are in the mix for a safety. They missed on Earl Thomas. We touched on.
I know we can't. I see all these names.
No questions yet. I haven't seen any questions yet. If you have any questions for us, we're going to be taking them. We're going to touch on our on the draft a little bit. But today we switched gears a little bit with the college basketball tournament starting today.
It is?
It is, yeah, believe it or not. I know we're predominantly an NFL show, but today the NCAA tournament starts.
The Zion Williams
The Zion Williamson Invitational, the RJ Barrett show starts, and I know we got some Final Four picks. Let's start with yours because mine's kind of a little. Yours is actually very off the wall.
Sure.
But there's one common
Like me.
commentary. Yeah, a little off the wall, you're out of control.
Just, I'm not going to claim to be a college basketball expert.
Neither of us are, and no one. And by the way, let's say no one is. Okay, no one is. No one knows what's going to happen in this tournament.
Well, I mean, a perfect example is there's a show that did. They did their brackets last year, and some guy's mother-in-law or one, she didn't know anything about the tournament, filled out the sheet, and she beat all the experts. And I think Vanessa,
my wife, won the whole tournament last year. 30 people were in the tournament. She was the one of only 2 women in the tournament, and she took it. So
yeah, so it just shows you.
Pena says his Final Four is 100% guaranteed. So
did he post who he's got?
I haven't. He hasn't told us yet.
Oh, okay.
I guess he's secretive a little bit.
I'll shoot mine out. Duke, Michigan, Tennessee, Houston.
Now, Houston, you told me this right before we started the show. Houston's interesting because I have Houston losing in the first round to Georgia State, which is my biggest upset. So this is how different it could be. You could have a team that you think is going to win it all, like Virginia last year. I had Virginia winning it all last year.
They were kind of reminded me of UConn in that American conference.
Mm-hmm.
UConn, remember, won it the first year.
Those 3 seeds are always intriguing.
And I think they're very talented team and I think it's an underrated conference. Again, UConn won the championship the first year of that league, and I think they're definitely a team to look out for. I really like Michigan too, but you got to go with Duke. I mean, obviously,
so you
they
have
got
Duke
the best player on the planet. Probably got in college basketball, and they got the second best player.
They definitely have the top 2 players in college basketball. The top 2 picks in the draft, more than likely.
Yes,
and Virginia does always blow at Pena. And Zion's
staying
a beast.
away from Virginia.
So I said that going into this tournament too. It's like, last year after they lost to the 16th seed, like UMCMB or YMCMB, I don't know, Young Money, whatever team they lost to. It's like 7 letters. I said I'm never picking Virginia again. So without further ado, here's my Final Four. I've got Michigan State. Now Michigan State is in Duke's bracket. I think it's going to come down to the Elite Eight with Duke and Michigan State. And Michigan State is one of the teams in this tournament that can beat Duke and will beat Duke. You heard it here. Take it to the bank. The logical team never wins. Never. No. And by never, I mean like in the last couple of years. It's never happened. In 2 years maybe since Duke.
Has there been a Zion Williamson?
There's never been a Zion Williamson
in the last 10 years.
No, there hasn't. And there's probably never been an RJ Barrett either, because that guy's unbelievable as well. But with that being said,
I think you're forgetting about all the good college basketball players before they started leaving early. Though,
yeah, before they all went one and done.
Yeah.
I mean,
you say never. That's
Well, I have to. It's helping my argument here. It's helping my argument. Okay. All right. So anyway, Michigan State's taking down Duke. Okay. Never been a Zion period. Pena says that's correct. Okay. And then I have Gonzaga going in as well. I have them beating Michigan in the Elite Eight. I was torn between that one. I wanted Michigan.
Yeah.
I really did want Michigan. I love Michigan.
Final 8 matchup, Elite 8.
My Gators play in the first round against Nevada. I think they squeaked by today, and then they unfortunately got to play Michigan the next round. That's
Nevada too. Just a quick shot. Eric Musselman. What a great job doing Nevada. If you remember Eric Musselman, an old NBA coach.
Yep.
And he's done tremendous things at Nevada, putting that program on the map.
Absolutely. So I got Michigan State and Gonzaga. And then, of course, I got only Nike can take down Duke, says Adrian. That's very nicely put. That's pretty true. So Michigan State, Gonzaga. I got North Carolina in my other bracket, and then the aforementioned Virginia, because I haven't learned.
Wow.
Okay, so here's my thing. Virginia lost to a 16 seed last year. They went through this year just gangbusters. Only lost two games this year. They play in the ACC, the toughest division.
It's the SEC of
it's
college
the SEC
basketball.
football. College, yeah, exactly. So I got Virginia. Then my final is Michigan State and Virginia again, because I still haven't learned. So I'm like, you know what? They'll go one more round, and then the final, I picked Virginia.
Wow.
Because you can't lose the same way twice, right? You can't. So I got Virginia winning it all, redemption year.
You're wearing Virginia colors.
Yeah, a little bit, but I like Virginia. So Virginia's taking it all this year, which I said last year, and was out of the tournament before I could even watch a game. So Virginia is going to take it. As I haven't learned, I still haven't learned. Okay, look, Patrick's got to get close.
My eyesight's not what it used to
Richie
be.
Parker says Wofford to the Sweet 16 and Virginia Tech upsets Duke in the round of 16. Wow, Richie, that's a tough. That's bold, but it could happen, man. Like you said, this tournament you don't know. You can sit here, all these experts on there say they know everything, and they pick every game and they break it down. I mean, Stu Gatz does it on Levitard. He just says, well, they got good guard play, senior leadership, and great coaching. You can say that about pretty much every team in the tournament, and then you're good. You're basically, that's it. You're covered. And that's basically what we just did right now. Right. So we just fooled you guys too. So that's what we got for the tournament. I know today's the biggest betting day of the year. You got 16 college basketball games going on today, 16 college basketball games going on tomorrow.
I think lots going on in Vegas today.
I think Vegas is kind of buzzing. I think Jersey's buzzing because they're allowed to do it. And there's a couple other states that are allowed to do it now. Hopefully Florida follows suit soon. My Costa Rican gambling site here it's good for now, but I would love to be able to just do FanDuel and DraftKings like everybody else does. My buddy from Jersey, Brian Caderna, shouts to Brian, the Caderna financial team. Shout to you, buddy. He came down and he was showing me his DraftKings sports book on his phone. That was pretty cool. I wish we could get that. So let's jump into the draft. I know you guys have some questions. Adrian, you're a Niner fan. He's a Niner fan. You got questions for him. He says, what superstar will be uncovered? Anybody to watch? It's what are we talking about? College basketball still? Are we talking about football? I'm guessing college basketball. If you're asking about college basketball, I mean, we don't know. Okay, because we didn't dive in. I've watched probably 2 college basketball games all season, which means that I know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so Merry Madness, okay, or March, whichever. A little iPhone mess up there. I mean, I think North Carolina. I did 2 brackets, and my other one has North Carolina winning it all. I think North Carolina is a team to watch out for. Obviously, they're the number 1 seed, so that's not goes without saying. But the ACC is well represented. North Carolina, Duke, and Virginia, all number 1s, and so it's that division and everybody else. Just kind of like in college football, recent time it's gotten a little better, but. We want to shift back to the NFL here. We have our full mock drafts done. We have them done.
So Ohio State, not to jump the gun, but Ohio State had their pro day yesterday.
Yes, they did.
So obviously,
Dwayne Haskins was zinging them out there. He was zipping the ball there, zooming it in there.
Eating potato chips.
It was interesting.
Big guy, but Nick Bosa didn't work out. I know that.
What a surprise!
That probably curled your hair up a little bit.
I mean, it just kind of speaks to what I've been trying to say is how look, I don't know the guy personally, but everything screams tool from that guy, and
I'll tell
screams
you, I heard
money.
I heard an interesting John Lynch. I don't know if it was on Colin Cowherd. He was on one of the shows the other day, and they asked him about Nick Bosa, and he said last year. They had made plans to go see Nick Bosa play. Obviously, it's a far trip, San Francisco, Ohio, so plans were already made weeks ahead. And he happened to get hurt, the week before, so he was going to be out. So he went to go watch Ohio State practice. And Nick Bosa, as he's watching practice, Nick Bosa actually showed up, didn't have to. Teammates all ran to him, kind of gave him a standing ovation, and it just showed John Lynch what a popular guy he was on the team, how much the guys really liked him. And you didn't have to be at practice, came to practice. So, again, you say all these negative things about Nick Bosa, but I haven't heard one guy come out and bash Bosa saying he's a bad teammate or selfish or greedy. But not no one that knows him or
no
plays
one that knows
with him.
anything about anything said anything about that. It's...
But interesting, he's kind of, it looks like with Arizona taking Kyler Murray, everyone thought him going to San Francisco was a slam dunk, which probably would have been had the 49ers not made that big trade for Dee Ford. Now I'm starting to hear Quentin Williams in play for the 49ers, though I think the 49ers do want to trade down, but Quentin Williams, and though I wouldn't be shocked if Quentin Williams goes number 1, because I think people are realizing he's probably the best player in the draft.
Yeah, and we've been saying that since day one, that he's the best player in this draft.
And he killed it on his pro day, and I mean, he's just an absolute monster, so now he's being talked about as the number 2 pick as well. So Bosa, I've even seen some mocks going to Oakland at 4. And boy, if Oakland gets him at 4, what an offseason that would complete.
I saw them as far as 5, and I just don't understand how 4 teams are going to pass on that guy.
Can't see it.
Especially teams like the Jets and the Raiders and the Niners who need defensive front help.
Yeah, I think if the 49ers keep the pick, he's still probably the pick. But again, Quentin Williams is in play again. Yeah. But I've heard rumblings the 49ers Raiders might swap picks, and the Raiders would move up to 2 to take Bosa, and then the Niners would take either Josh Allen, or if Williams was there, the Jets would probably take Quentin Williams. But Brian Burns is a very hot name.
I've seen Burns shooting up, man.
Yeah, with the CBS has him going for the Raiders. Well, he's a talented guy, 6'5", 235. He's put on about 15 pounds already. 4'6", 40, long arms, langy. Just a huge upside. I think he had 9.5 sacks this year on a bad Florida State team, but he's being compared to Aldon Smith. Yeah. Very talented pass rusher.
So we talked about Quinn Williams in a little sneak peek. I actually think that's the pick the Niners are going to make. I do think the Niners are going to end up going Quinn Williams. You're a Niner fan. You obviously know more about the team than me.
Imagine him and DeForest Buckner in the middle.
But with Buckner, Williams, D Ford going there.
You still got Solomon Thomas.
You still have Solomon Thomas, Armstead. You got the whole defensive front
Fred
covered.
Warner and Quan Alexander at linebacker.
The Niners' defense is going to be a force to reckon with next year, which is 2 years ago we would have said, what are you talking about? They're an absolute mess.
Machete.
Like to see
your boy Devin White's moving up too.
Devin White, unfortunately for me, is moving up because
I've seen him going as high as 4.
I have him as 4. I've seen him going as high as 4 to the Raiders. 5 to the Bucs is now a trendy pick now. But with me being a Bronco fan and hoping that Devin White has been the guy I've wanted for Denver since day one, since the first mocks came out, since the first research.
Who would you take at this point?
If he's gone, another popular pick they're saying going to the other side of the ball is Big Hawk, T.J. Hawkinson, by tight end. They're talking about him going to Denver, and the Broncos have had some less than success with tight ends lately in their draft. Jeff Hireman's been hurt. Jake Butt came in, got hurt instantly again. So they haven't really had a strong tight end presence in Denver in a while.
He looks like the real deal.
He does look like a great player, and he could be the pick. Devin Bush is another guy if you want to stay at linebacker.
Too early for him, but
if
you go by film, he's a top 10 pick. It's just he's a little bit on the short side, but that guy's a heck of a player.
Adrian says we're getting Tebow back. Listen, I would welcome that in a heartbeat. I'm the only one that would, but I love Tebow. I loved him when he was there, but. Bush, Hawkinson. I can even see if Montez Sweat kind of goes down, just throwing edge rushers out at guys. Like we have Shane Ray's going to be gone. We lost Shaq Barrett, who was also an edge guy. He went to the Bucs. That's another. Like we say, you can never have too many. It might be. I don't think that's where they will go. But if they get a 10 with all these trades happening, teams trading up for guys in front of them, they might be left with go best player available, which they did last year with Bradley Chubb after Denzel Ward went in front of him, because Denzel Ward was going to be the pick for Denver, it looked like, and then all of a sudden it was Bradley Chubb falling right into their laps. So that could happen. But in a perfect scenario, perfect world, Devin White would be the pick for Denver, but it's very possible he goes to the Bucs. I think Greedy Williams is still the pick for the Bucs. He's a guy that's slipping way back. But I don't know.
First, I think once it settles,
23 to the Texans. I seen him as far as that. And another guy that was slipping, stay in the SEC in Florida is Ja'Kai Polite, man. I had him in my top 10 in our very first mock. I've got him all the way down to number 29 to the Chiefs, and that would be a stretch even because they're saying he's falling out. He had a terrible combine. He got hurt in the combine.
He's a little bit on the small side.
He's small as it is.
But you turn on the film, the guy's a player.
Yeah, and he needed that good combine to help with the size issues and the questions.
And too,
that
the draft is so strong at edge rusher too that hurts him obviously.
Right, absolutely.
All that, but he'll be a good pick late first, early second round. Someone's
getting a steal late in the draft for sure, and you can see maybe teams trading up from their second round.
He's a perfect fit for a team like New England, especially in that scheme. Watch them steal him.
If he gets to 32, that'd be
insane. They love Gators too.
Yeah, I think they'll go offense. They need some talent for Brady, but with Brady only being. We say this every year. He's only got 2 to 3 years left. We've been saying that for 7 years now. It seems like. So we'll see what they think they're going to do there. I know we had some Cowboy fans in and out. They don't have a first round pick. unfortunately.
They made a nice signing, Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb was a big pick. 1 year, $5 million. That's cheap. And apparently the Packers just want them to they just want Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams to throw into triple coverage, and that's it. I really don't know what they're doing there, but the Packers obviously are going to go off.
They did sign some good, solid defense. They had 3 starters in free agency, but then you get rid of Nick Perry and Clay Matthews. I mean, I know you got younger, but not a whole lot better. With
get to that question in a second, Adrian. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Packers need to go offense, I think, in
one interesting guy in the draft, and I could see the Packers maybe taking a look at him, is DK Metcalf. I've seen him all over the place. I've seen him as high as 5, and then I've seen him as low as, in the 20s. I think he'll probably be somewhere in between.
Yeah, I still have him going 9 to Buffalo. I mean, I just think some team's going to fall in love with him and take that risk, and Buffalo is that team. They want to give Josh Allen some
spark, a playmaker, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with there. But going to Adrian's question, he says, how are the Browns going to finish in the AFC? They're going to win the AFC. I think
so.
They're definitely a favorite to win the division. That's for sure.
I think they're going to win the division.
I think they will win the division.
The conference.
But there's also those that you sometimes need that year to get acclimated and together.
And it's a rookie head coach. I know he was the coordinator there, but he's a rookie head coach. I think he's going to maybe take some lumps too. So
you got a new OC, a new coach,
but
new
on
DC.
paper, geez, I mean, you talk about Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, the tight end from Miami, who's a stud in the making, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb,
Duke Johnson,
Baker Mayfield's really got some toys.
It's insane
to work with. I mean, on paper, that's a 10-6 team.
Definitely 10-6, 11-5 maybe. They definitely will be in the running for the AFC North. And if all goes well, if they meet expectations that they have on paper, I can definitely see them being in that AFC title game, just from a talent standpoint. Now I understand it's a young quarterback. It's a lot of ego.
It changes so much when you get in the postseason. I always hear guys when they play their first playoff game, just the intensity level is so different. So
that's the Chiefs.
I think if they get in the playoffs, they're probably one and done, just because most of those guys have never been in the playoffs. But get their feet wet and then come back, and I think next year they could really be one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl and possibly win it.
Richie threw some stuff in here. We got to hit a little see more action right here. So Richie says, Giants at 6, go defense. 17 O-line. 17, they go O-line or wide receiver if Metcalf is on the board. He's got all the picks. 37th pick, depending on round 2 O-line. He's a Giants fan, as you can tell. He does not think that the Giants are going to take Haskins at 6. So
I've been seeing them linked to Josh Rosen.
They're talking about trading for Josh Rosen. That's a very distinct possibility.
If they trade for Rosen, then they probably wouldn't draft a quarterback early. So they could talk about getting a defensive help. They could maybe get an edge rusher.
Rashawn Gary. I've seen Rashawn Gary jump up to 6 on some draft boards. I don't see that happening. I think Rashawn Gary's gonna be late first.
They could or they could even take a tackle, Jawan Taylor or Jonah Williams.
And
Jawan Taylor from Florida.
Jawan Taylor. Andre Dillard is jumping up. Some places.
Little, the tackle from Ole Miss.
You could see 4 tackles going in the first round, possibly. I think definitely 3 for sure. But the Giants, to me, the plan was in place, or at least it seemed like it, that they were going Haskins at 6, and then they made this trade with Odell, and then 17 they can get an edge rusher. If you're looking like a guy like Clelin Ferrell, if he's there, he's the one that's jumping up. I think that would be they could take Rashawn Gary at 17 if they really like him. All right, so it's interesting. The Rosen trade isn't a bad idea, he says. If they don't give up either of this year's first, I don't think they're going to have to give up a first. I think it would be a second. I think it's a second for sure. Yeah. I think that's what if the Cardinals are being realistic, a second round pick for him would be the realistic thing. So the Giants are in good shape as far as their rebuilding goes. They made those picks. They got a first. They got a third. They got Jabril Peppers for Odell. They've got the number 6 pick. They've got the number 17 pick. If they like Daniel Jones, if they like Drew Lock, they could use that pick at 17.
Well, you say they're in good shape. They have as
far as
they have their star running back and they have picks. But they don't have a quarterback.
But they don't have a quarterback. Well, as far as being able to draft to start the rebuilding process in this draft, I think they're in good shape when it comes to that.
They just got to find their quarterback.
They got to find the quarterback.
And
I think Haskins is the pick. I mean, I've liked Haskins from the start. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft.
Pure passer, yeah.
Definitely a pure passer. Kyler Murray is getting all the buzz only because of the love affair with him and Cliff Kingsbury. If Kyler Murray doesn't exist, we might be talking about Dwayne Haskins going number 1. I mean, it's very possible. I think Dwayne Haskins is the best quarterback in this draft. I think the Giants should make that pick at 6. It was like that. They shouldn't second-guess themselves. I personally think that's the pick. Unless they make a trade for Josh Rosen, then obviously everything goes out the window. Felipe, I wanted to talk about the Dolphins a little bit. Dolphins are at 13. That's enough.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Sign Fitzmagic a little bit. Typical Dolphins move.
He'll help you win 6-7 games.
But it'll also help you tank if you need it, and that's what I think they're possibly.
But he'll also sneak out a game or two. He'll have a couple big games.
Exactly.
Win a game that you don't want to.
Throwing the ball to Devontae Parker.
But so they picked 13. DK Metcalf, I think, would make a ton of sense for them if he's there. They could look at one of the quarterbacks, Jones, Locke.
Drew Locke is going to be there at 13 for them probably. Unfortunately for Felipe and the Dolphins, I think Drew Locke is the pick personally, because if you're a Dolphins fan, first of all, NFL teams don't do like the NBA and just completely tank and make it noticeable like in the NBA. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, there was like, I think the Pelicans and the Suns playing, and the Pelicans coach knew they had no timeouts. He calls a timeout, and obviously it's a technical foul. Suns hit 2 free throws, Pelicans lose, Pelicans move a little more down. That's clear tanking. NFL teams, you can't convince guys that are throwing their bodies on the line to tank. But it would behoove the Dolphins, if they like Tua or if they like Fromm or if they like the guys that are coming out next year, to not be good and take DK Metcalf at 13. Get a guy. They obviously still think Devontae Parker is something. They saw something from him last year. He showed some signs. So you anchor the receivers. You got Metcalf. You got Parker. Then you go get your.
I got the tight end from Penn State.
So it's going to be interesting. The Dolphins.
They're obviously in a rebuilding mode, and it's going to take a couple years.
Felipe also says that he read up that they might trade it for Haskins. I did see that on some draft boards. So we got some more questions rolling in. This is great. So the Dolphins definitely could trade up.
Is there any chance the Cowboys do not win the Super Bowl?
Oh, that's a typical Brian Caderna question. Yeah, well, it's 20. You got to figure out about 2019 first. So,
well, the Super Bowl isn't.
Yeah, I guess it's in 2020. But they would be the 2019 champs, though. So, Brian Caderna says he's a Cowboy fan and the biggest Cowboy homer I think I've ever met in my entire life. Yeah. Is there any chance?
I don't think you were born the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl.
I was born. I'm a little older than I look, I guess. Not the hairline, of course, but 95. I was a brisk 8 years old. Yeah. Actually, I wasn't even 8 yet. I was 7. I was just about ready to turn 8.
I actually won in 96, 95 season.
95, 96, season, whatever. And right before the Packers won, and then my Broncos won 2 straight. In case you guys forgot, I remember those vaguely.
And that's the last time the Cowboys obviously won a Super Bowl. I think they've only won like 1 or 2
playoff games since then. I think. They won the one with Rome, I think 3 because Romo's won 2 and then Dak has won 1 now. So I think 3, which is you got to start somewhere. But the Cowboys are definitely primed to make a Super Bowl
Very
run.
solid team in place. I mean, you talk about you got your quarterback Dak Prescott, Armani Cooper.
Yeah, Armani Cooper.
Armani Cooper.
I like Amari too. Armani, it's not a Tuma. That's Amani Tuma.
I think he's really resurrected his career. He's younger. I think he's only 24.
Cooper's 24. I think he'll be 25 when the season starts.
I mean, his best football is still ahead of him, and obviously, you got your star running back in place. You got DeMarcus Lawrence coming back. It's really a shame about Randy Gregory because he was really coming on. And then talk about having 2 pass rushers. The Cowboys had their 2 guys, but now that guy's obviously a mess.
Yeah. So Richie's circling back he's sorry to circle back to the Giants. Don't be sorry, man. We welcome the questions. He says that teams should. Who has the best angle for Trevor Lawrence in 2021? I mean, that kid at Clemson, Sunshine. I think he
Dolphins.
No matter it could be the Dolphins still. No matter what year he comes out, he's gonna be the number 1 pick. I mean, he could have came out this year and been the number 1 pick
of college football.
I mean, he was unbelievable last year. And those passes, when you make those passes
against
Alabama,
those are all NFL guys basically on Alabama's defense. They have at least 3-4 first-round picks on their defense.
Definitely. I have all 3. I have 3 of their D linemen going in the first round. at Clemson. That's this year. That's just
Clemson.
Yeah. But it's insane. Trevor Lawrence is going to be a stud for sure. And yeah, true freshman, right? Yeah, true freshman. That's insane as well. Let's see. We got. We had a Falcon. Pena was wondering a little bit about the Falcons at 14. I think
defense
for sure. I like Ed Oliver there. If there's been rumblings that they go tackle, I don't think that's a good idea. I think they should definitely focus on the defense. You have Tack McKinley, you got Vic Beasley, you got Grady Jarrett, you kept him. You throw Ed Oliver in there with those three guys.
Ed Oliver
your D-line
makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, you're in there
Stud
for sure.
DT from Houston, guy runs like a linebacker. He was being talked about as number 1 pick at early part of the season.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, you're able to get a guy like that at 14. Yeah,
if he
fits
have
that scheme too with the Falcons. They run a similar style of defense as Seattle.
You take away the injury and the off the field kind of sort of issues. He's in that top five. No doubt, for sure.
Absolutely.
With Williams, with Bosa, with Allen, all those guys. Are we going to try and make the college football opener, Richie? Yes, we are. Gators, Canes, definitely going to try and make that one. Tickets are astronomical right now, unfortunately, but it's all about waiting game. You wait till the last minute. It's going to be in Orlando, so that's going to be a fun weekend. I definitely want to do that, and they moved it up a week actually to celebrate some 100th year. No, that's the NFL. I don't know, something like that. I think they did it, but talk about. I know Sleepy actually. He's not watching right now, but he came into Outback the other day, and he was talking about the Raiders, and they got 3 picks.
Are you talking about the Raiders?
Right, I know, crazy, right? It's nuts. So you got the Raiders picking at 4. We think I think Josh Allen's the pick, or Nick Bosa, whoever's remaining. Brian Burns, you think is that
Josh Allen might fall.
Allen
be
might
surprised if Brian Burns goes ahead of Josh Allen.
Now that I would be. You want to make that a double or nothing on Kyler Murray? I'll do that for you right now. All right, so you heard it right there.
Brian
so Kyler,
Burns is going to go.
We've got a $20 bet that long time ago I said Kyler Murray would go top 10.
You did, yeah.
So no, I said top 20.
I think it was top 10.
All right, either way, top 10. He's going top 5, so that's a win.
You won that bet.
And then now we just said that he says Brian Burns is going to go ahead of Josh Allen. So jive Josh Allen, he's got Brian Burns here, $20, double or nothing.
Not that we condone gambling, but
I do. It's legal in most states, so who cares? So condone a lot of things. So the Raiders, their last 2 picks, they're at 24 and they're at 27.
Well, at that point, I think maybe a tight end or
running back, possibly,
or even
maybe a corner.
Yeah,
because you got. If you look at mine, I mean, I got them taking Josh Jacobs, the running back at Alabama.
I like the corner from Washington too, Byron Murphy. He could be in play.
Yep, for sure. I think he goes a little bit higher to the Steelers at 20.
Greedy Williams,
if they're saying he's falling, I mean, good Lord. If Oakland gets Josh Allen and Greedy Williams in this draft, along with all the free agents they got, I mean, they're already going to be better and scary. But that's just they're gearing up for.
Well, they've had a heck of an offseason. Boy, Mike Mayock, running things. Well, John Gruden's running things, but having Mike Mayock as his right-hand man. The Raiders definitely had an exciting offseason thus far, and like I said, I think they'll get their D-line help, get a pass rusher or
Brian Burns.
Well, Brian Burns, that's what I'm saying. I think Brian Burns he could very well be the pick, and then later on, Jacobs from Alabama makes sense. How about DeAndre Baker, the corner?
If he's there.
The other tight end from Iowa, Noah Fant, he could
Yep.
be in the mix. And you got Jeffrey Simmons, the DT from Mississippi State. Polite, if by chance they didn't go for D-line with their first pick. And then there's a kid from Delaware I really like, Nasir Adderley, athletic safety, really a ball hawks free
I got
safety.
him creeping up into my first round.
Really like him. He could be at a play for them. And
I think if you look at talk about tight ends, a guy that's been creeping into the first round is Irv Smith Jr. Tight end that's going to be.
I remember his dad used to play. That's how you know when you're getting old. When I remember these kids' dads playing.
Yeah, throwing the junior
Irv
in there.
Smith, tight end. I think he was the first rounder of the Saints.
Saints, I think, and then. So Irv Smith's another guy to watch out for.
Yeah, I think he can sneak in the first round.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And tight ends are.
It's a solid draft for tight ends.
Well, you see tight ends being more and more involved. You see the Gronks of the world. You see the Travis Kelce's. You see the George Kittles.
2 tight ends, yeah.
Zach Ertz. Yeah. Teams are using 2 tight ends. Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert.
Tight ends are like number 1 receivers in some cases. Now, Zach Ertz is number 1 receiver for the Eagles.
Absolutely.
George Kittle's number 1 receiver for the Niners.
Yep.
Kelce, monster.
Gronk at one point was the best.
Was the Patriots' top weapon.
And it's because of the change of the game, the vertical passing game, and the scoring.
Jimmy
and the rules.
Graham in New Orleans for a long time.
So
Tony Gonzalez and
you even took Delaney Walker in Tennessee before he got hurt.
Walker.
Tight end. I know when we do fantasy, it's like you can. With my league, it's flex. People are going tight end.
And Indy, big reason why they had success was Eric Ebron really came on from them. That was
It's like 15 touchdowns this year. Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
Really helped me in my fantasy league for sure. I don't know if any other questions. I know we got the Dolphins talk through. We got the Raiders in. We touched on our teams. We touched on the Packers.
So who would you say right now obviously the draft is vital to team success, but looking at it right now, who maybe the 2 or 3 teams in each conference you think moving forward are early favorite, very early.
So teams in the NFC, obviously you look at the Rams, you look at the Saints, they're the obvious choices in the NFC. I think a team that might make a run and come back to earth is the Atlanta Falcons. And the Atlanta Falcons had an abysmal season last year, not only because our dear friend Mike Pena is a Falcon fan, but the Falcons have way too much talent to be as bad as they had. They had a ton of injuries last year.
They made a huge move. They got rid of Steve Scarsazian. No business being an NFL OC. And absolute no business.
No business being an OC.
And they got Dirk Cotter, who's a really good NFL OC. He had success with the Jaguars. He had success with the Falcons.
Yes.
I think he was the OC for the Falcons when they went to the NFC Championship game when my Niners beat them.
Yeah, that was
so they bring him back as offensive coordinator. Great move right there. And
you talk about the Falcons last year real quick about the injuries. They lost Keanu Neal early. They lost Deion Jones early. He came back towards the end of the season, but they were already out of it.
Freeman.
Devontae Freeman getting hurt. Julio Jones plays out of his mind. He seems to be always hurt, but he still plays out of his mind. Calvin Ridley's going to make more strides. I think he was unbelievable last year.
Yeah, he really was. He really came on it. Type Ridley and Julio Jones. That's a heck of a duo right there.
The only question for me is that running back position for the Falcons. Is Devontae Freeman going to be healthy?
Yeah.
He's proven he can't stay healthy and be the every down back always. That's why Tevin Coleman was so great for them. Then they let him go for pennies. The 2 years, $10 million to the Niners. And so I don't know what their plan is. They're looking to draft a guy.
I think they'll probably draft a guy maybe in
the second or third round. Maybe get one of those late running backs. So that's the only question mark for me because if they do draft Ed Oliver, that defensive front, it's already intact with Jarrett, Tack McKinley, Beasley, those guys. The linebackers, Deion Jones is an All-Pro. They get Keanu Neal back. Desmond Trufant still got some Ronaldo Hill at safety. Their other corner, Alfred, is decent. So they've got the talent, they've got the pieces. It's just they gotta produce. And Matt Ryan's still top 10 quarterback in this league.
The offensive coordinator change is huge.
Top 5 all time if you ask Pena, but that's a different story.
Getting Dirk Cotter as offensive coordinator and getting rid of Sarson, that was a big move. But they play in such a tough division too.
Right.
You got the Saints, the Panthers,
and then the NFC East. We didn't touch on them. The Eagles and Cowboys are going to be battling out. The Cowboys look great. The Eagles are still around. So there's Penny's back. The Falcons.
I think the Rams take a step back and. They signed Blake Bortles in free agency. I tell you, I still think Jared Goff. I think he got exposed against the Patriots.
So?
Well, actually, he got exposed against the Bears. Your guy, Vic Fangio, exposed him, and it took him about a month to get out of the funk. Then he kind of did. And then the Patriots just made him look terrible. Yeah. Don't be surprised if that funk carries over.
Well, there's always the Super Bowl hangover, right? Yeah. The Super Bowl losers.
Don't be surprised if Blake Bortles ends up starting for the Rams a little later.
I don't. That's a stretch, and it is a stretch. But I understand where you're coming from, but I think Jared Goff just had way too good of a year, and I think mentally. I thought that going in that he was mentally tough, and he's clearly not. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But you talk about, like I said, I think the Rams maybe take a step back with Todd Gurley's got the arthritic knee. Now it looks like so. Yeah. Their offensive line, they lost Roger Saffold. Andrew Whitworth's going to be 54, I think, at left tackle.
39.
they did bring back Fowler, so that helps. But they lost a couple guys on defense. They lost Marcus Joyner. They did sign Eric Weddle. So
your Niners are making a run. They got Jimmy G back.
They're breathing down their neck. So I
the Seahawks are always around.
I really like the Bears, although Peter King made an interesting point. He thinks Matt Nagy really kind of did a lot of smoke and mirrors and kind of hit a lot of Trubisky's weaknesses. So we'll see. I like Trubisky myself, but some people aren't sold on him. But I think the Bears are a team that's on the rise. Yeah. I really do.
Penny says Goff is about to go off. Go off, Goff. Well, he went off last year in the regular season and helped me win the Outback League, but we'll see what happens.
I'll take Matt Ryan over Goff.
I would too. I would take Matt Ryan over Goff too. I would, but
at this point, there's about 20 quarterbacks I would take over Goff.
Over Goff, if you're trying to win a game. If you're talking fantasy, it's maybe a little different.
Fantasy.
No, of course not. But I'm saying if you're, you have to. Fantasy's so big now. So you think, and then NFC East. It's obviously going to probably be between the Cowboys and Eagles. Who do you think's got the edge there? I'd give it to the Cowboys right now on paper.
Cowboys. But because he's Carson Wentz, exactly. How's he going to hold up
come back?
Injury? And,
he's always hurt.
I really like what the Cowboys have in place. And then Witten, you get Dak Prescott's security blanket. Now Randall Cobb, nice compliment to Armani
Cooper. My father-in-law's not going to like that pick. I apologize, big Eagle fan. But I do give it to the Cowboys. So we touched on the NFC North. I think it's still between the Vikings. Vikings, Bears, and Packers. Really, the Lions are going to be in the.
Lions will be better.
The Lions will be better, but they're not going to be good enough. NFC West we talked about. The NFC South with the Falcons. I think the Falcons win that division
really,
this year.
Falcons,
I think they come back.
Saints,
and I think the Saints take a step back. And
Panthers. I think Cam Newton had major shoulder surgery. You could tell he wasn't right all year, but I started to wonder if he's a little bit on decline. He's taken a beating the last couple of years.
He has, and he can't make it. The zip on that ball is not there. Like when they went to the Super Bowl a couple of years, that Super Bowl year against the Broncos. I mean, he was the MVP. He was everything. Yeah. It's like, all right, this guy's arrived. He's gonna be great. And then just nosedive since then.
Well,
so
Greg Olsen too is on the decline. That was his big security blanket.
Schedule's up, guys.
One's great. Yeah, I see that.
Schedule's up for Outback Boys. Just went off on me.
Hot schedule's
posted. Oh, jeez. All right, so
swap.
Yeah. So the NFC. So you talk now. We
switch one.
Yeah, switch it a little bit to the AFC. The AFC, it's obviously Patriots. We don't need to talk about them. They're going to win it until Brady either retires, dies, or both, whatever. So the Patriots are winning that division. We don't need to talk about that. The AFC North, we talk about the Browns. We think the Browns are going to take that, but the Ravens and Steelers kind of going down a little bit. The Bengals are a mess.
The Bengals are a disaster.
AFC South, you got the Titans.
That's a tough division because, you got the Titans.
Colts, Jags, Texans.
What a great insurance policy for Mariota isn't. But you got the Colts, who I think are a solid team, even though all that cap space didn't sign anybody. We did a whole show talking about that.
Don't get it.
But Houston, I really like. And Jacksonville, get Nick Foles with that defense. I tell you, all four of those teams I could see winning 10 games.
Like every year, the NFC South, it seems like in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but usually it's two decent teams and then.
Coming into the season, they all look like they got a shot, and then they end up separating themselves.
Yeah, but that's a pretty solid division. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The Colts.
I think Jacksonville
comes back with Foles. I really do. I don't think. But the thing is another thing with Foles, it's like, was he a product of the system?
Yeah.
You can say that, but he also had great success with Chip Kelly when he was there. Now he's got Doug Peterson. Now he goes to Jacksonville, where they're not known for their offensive firepower.
But he does have a good defense to work with.
He does. And if solid running game if Fournette stays healthy.
If Fournette can stay healthy, he's got his running game. If he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
that's obviously.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Need to get some weapons for him, too, obviously.
Right. Then you go in the AFC West, which is just a free-for-all as well. Kansas City looks like they're head and shoulders above each other, everybody else, but
they got some, off-the-field issues. Their defense, which was already shaky, lose Dee Ford and Justin Houston.
Kareem Hunt obviously is gone.
But you got Patrick Mahomes, who's just unbelievable.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Tyreek Hill, too, with the troubles he got in. So Patrick Mahomes, though, is just, he's he's something else.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be the best quarterback in the league once Brady goes away.
And then the Raiders are going to be such an interesting team to watch. I mean, geez, they if anything else, they'll be fun to watch, and a great storyline, you know, with Antonio Brown going there. Let's see how that works out with Derek Carr.
Chargers and Broncos are always
all their first-round picks.
Yeah.
And Chargers on paper really good. You got your two pass rushers, Ingram, Bosa. Derwin James is an all-world safety. That guy's a heck of a player.
Absolute beast. Probably address the defensive interior defensive line in the draft. Maybe Dexter Lawrence if he's there, some guy like that or whatever.
And you got Melvin Gordon if he can keep staying healthy. He's a heck of a player.
Rivers still got it.
They did lose Tyrell Williams, which you could also look for a receiver now.
But Mike Williams came on.
Mike Williams
big time last year.
Yeah,
he's still got Keenan Allen.
Still got Keenan Allen. So
the biggest question mark in that division.
40 years old.
Biggest question mark division is obviously my Broncos because we change quarterbacks every year since Peyton's left. Joe Flacco's there. We re-signed Emmanuel Sanders, who just come off a
Kareem Jackson was a good pickup.
I at first was wondering what the hell we were doing, and then I looked deeper into
Bryce
it.
Callahan, depending who you talk to.
Right, Bryce Callahan. I've heard that's like Bears fans. I see Bears fans posting that they sad to see him go. He was so productive. Then you see some experts saying it was the worst. Like you said, the worst free agent signing in free agency. Well, they gave him 3 years, $21 million. It's like
which is nothing nowadays.
Which is nothing, but they gave him like $12 million of it guaranteed, which is kind of a lot, and that more than half guaranteed. So interesting to see. They had to do something with that defense. They're trying to get the no-fly zone back, like they had in the Super Bowl. Obviously, we'll talk more about the NFL and our picks coming up in the shows to come.
We'll post our full mock.
Yep.
And then again, the big show next month at Outback, the draft show. Definitely encourage you if you want to stop by, come see us. If not, post your questions. Subscribe for YouTube because we will do the $50 gift card. We'll also do another gift card for whoever gets the mock draft closest, the top 15.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Post more.
Also, I forgot to mention that again. Adam Padro just came in to say what's up.
What's up, Adam?
How you doing, pal? So the top 15. So we want you to do starting April 1st. Send us in your top 15. By the way, this does not. You can't game plan for trades. We understand that. So what's going to happen is we're going to go by the slot. So if you got 1 through 15. If the Raiders are at 4 and you have Josh Allen, but the Raiders traded with, say, the Giants at 6, and the Giants picked Josh Allen at 4, that's correct. So it'll be a correct one. So it's just by the slot, not the team, because trades are going to be going off. So if you think in your head, well, they're going to anticipate a trade at 6 for a quarterback or 4, put that quarterback in there, even if it is the team that you don't think is going to take it. Put it in there. Just give us 1 through 15 the player that you think is going to be taken. So don't even worry about the teams.
Yep.
So 1 through 15 the player. Whoever gets the most right will win $50 to Outback Steakhouse, which is pretty cool.
No rules, just right.
That's right. So $50 gift card to the winner of that top 15, and we'll do that.
Alex is already posting the hot schedule.
Alex is already trying to wheel and deal. The schedule's been out for 45 seconds, and Alex is just all over the place. Per usual. The tournament starts in like 15 minutes. Make sure you get your brackets in.
The Zion
Williamson show starts soon. So make sure you're doing that. Remember, Thursday, April 25th?
Yeah.
Thursday, April 25th.
And we have that on
our
page.
We're going to continue to share
sign
that.
up or say you're interested again, so we can kind of get a count for food and seating and stuff. So please let us know.
Oh, he's... Yeah, we're gonna try and we're already gonna try and make that opener, Richie. So we'll probably get the tickets a little later. So
again,
let's do some parlays. Absolutely, Pena.
You can
I'm gonna get on the horn with you right now. Hopefully,
watch the previous shows on YouTube. Again, we're really happy. Our views on YouTube have gone from 50 to 60 to 150, 160. Our Facebook views, of course, are
through the roof.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys again. Like we said, Gyro Nuzzy Podcast on Facebook. Like the page. Gyro Nuzzy Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe, please. It's free. Get to 50 subscribers. We're gonna do a little giveaway. We'll catch you guys next week. This was our final, or we're gonna do one more mock draft before it starts, and then we're gonna be in there. So
and if you want to watch the previous shows on YouTube or
we're gonna post them all, or you can always watch them on Facebook if you want. If you're gonna get catch up, I know Jason and Ryan gotta get caught up. Mister, we watch every show, but make sure you guys get in there. All right. Thanks, Pena. Thanks for the support,
for
you
all the
guys. Thanks for the kind
questions, guys.
words. Thanks for the questions. We out of here. Enjoy the tournament.
Ask on
Let's
all
get
prime.
it. Ask on all prime, baby. Peace.